Merry meet and welcome to all of my lovelies. I am Willow and welcome to Whispers of Willow. This show is in association with my Willow's Witchy Den and also part of our past 101 education shows that I do with my sisters, which we're hoping to bring back. So, second part to my shows for all of my new coming witches are beginner witches. So this is another show where I'm going to be talking to you and educating you on points that are really important to becoming a witch and being in the craft. I really feel that these pointers and this information and education that I'm bringing in the video today is a really important one to share with all of you. And I do feel that it will help you guys on your path and your journey into becoming a witch and working within the craft. And it will also give you that confidence and make you realize that it's not so daunting to become a witch and to be in the craft. And it's not as time consuming as you may see in some videos and what people may say about it. So I'm just here to really give you that advice and to help you to come forward in that. As a fellow practitioner and somebody that is a witch and been doing the craft and casting spells and workings for many years, I know how hard it is to start in the craft and to become a witch and not to know really what direction to take. So that's why it's really good to have educational shows like this that can help you and point you in the directions that you need. And also, it gives you something you can come back to when you're unsure. As a witch, I will always be open to educating new and upcoming and beginner witches. I think it's amazing when we see new people coming into our craft and believing in our ways. And it is the natural way and it is the most proper way, in my opinion, in being spiritual, being awakened, and being you. So, in this video, as from yesterday's video, was a lot talking about the Sabbats, talking about looking into different types of witches, and talking about working with gods and goddesses. Today's show is about educating you and just helping you to have more of an understanding about taking your journey and walking your path into your spirituality and you becoming you. And, little bits of information on exercises and scenarios that you're going to be dealing with. And this sort of video will give you that information and that help to help you get through those scenarios. So, for all of you beginner witches, we do want to welcome you and merry me, and we are really happy that you are joining our community of witches and that you are awakening to the true and ethnic world, which is what we're doing. That you have a special place in your heart, that you know that you're different and you're individual, and that you're willing to be able to be open, to learn, to grow, and to become greater and to become your spiritual selves. But with all of that and the research, studying, learning to cast spells, and all of this stuff, it's really important to understand that, yes, in your first couple of years of becoming a witch, it is a lot about research, study, educating yourself, getting to know yourself spiritually, getting to know your deities, getting to know how to do certain things in your spell work and your workings and rituals and things like that. It can be quite a hectic and quite a busy time for you. But I'm here to tell you that it's not all daunting and that once you get used to the element of being a witch, once you get used to how to work in your practice and you have your path the way that you want it, and you just want to continue by growing and bringing more things into your life, when you get to that point, it's an amazing feeling. And also, it becomes so much easier when working in your craft. You'll find that you won't light up your altars all the time, and you won't always light up candles and bring out items that are dedicated to certain deities and stuff. Sometimes it's just as simple as talking from your heart and from your mind to your deities. It's as easy as sitting and doing meditation and contemplating and meditating on what you're needing to do. It's as easy as opening your mind, speaking your words, and bringing it into action. As you become greater in your craft and as you become more knowledgeable, there will be many factors in the craft that you'll learn. things that you should do, things you shouldn't do, what you should look out for, and what is correct and what isn't. There is so much to learn, and you don't need to rush this. Being educated and learning yourself is key. And this doesn't mean running before you can walk. Okay. The craft is a very important factor to be part of. And it's also a very dedicated place to be part of as well. And you do need to make sure that you have that understanding of what you're walking into. So, your education, your studying, and your teaching, and watching others, reading books, doing all of these things to educate and to stimulate your mind in becoming a witch and being part of the craft is all very important, and is very much what you would be doing in the beginning of becoming a witch. 2 minutes, guys. I have got a cold coming, I think. I do apologize. So, in all of that, today I just want to do this video to just give you some opinions from me as a witch, and also to give you some guidance and some help so you can have more of an understanding of how to work. Okay. Now, as I said, your first couple of years should be purely dedicated to getting to know yourself and doing your research, your studying, and understanding yourself as a witch, understanding your practices, understanding different types of paths and ways that you can take. After you establish those things and you become established in yourself, and you can craft and you can cast spells and you can do all these amazing things, that's when the path really starts to open for you. You'll have more understanding and connections with your deities. You'll understand the different feelings you get from these deities. You'll be able to communicate and connect with them directly. You'll be able to understand the patterns and the ways of our world and how it works. And you will be deeply connected through physical and mental. So it's really important to understand that and know that when you do come into the craft and you do open yourself to your spirituality, it's really important to understand that you're not just doing this to become part of the craft, to be just a witch. You're doing this with the words that you want to be greater in yourself, you want to bring good. There's always got to be a reason for why you come into the craft. A lot of us witches are called into the craft for a reason. Maybe we've had a situation or something that's happened, and we felt the strong presence of our divine energies helping us and getting us through what we were facing. It may be that there's something in the world that you see and you want to make it better, and you want to be able to do things to make life better, help people in life. All of these can be reasons to why you are called to the craft. And just because you simply want to be your true and ethnic self, your spiritual self, your higher self. So today is a more laid back one. It's not so much an education stream where I'm educating you, but it is a stream where you can take advice and you can take knowledge that you know is 100% genuine and is done by a witch that is natural and worked in her own ethnic and her own way, but also has morals and beliefs in certain structures and factors in the craft. Okay, so we're going to start that now. So I hope that this is going to help you to be able to understand more, and to help you to be at ease a little bit, and realize that it's not all up go, cast spells all the time, having to light your altars all the time. Maybe at the beginning because you're learning and you're growing, but as time goes on and as you become better, it's not like that. And you'll know when you need to light your altars up. You'll know when you need to do certain things. And that's what's the cool thing about it, coming into this craft and learning and having so many people these days that you can actually look up to and be helped by as well. It's an amazing thing. Excuse, I have got a cold, guys. Can feel it coming on. So, first, I want to welcome you to the video. For anyone that is new and coming, I am spiritually known as Willow, and I'm here to talk to you about the new series that I am bringing to my channel in a couple of weeks. These are just a few of the videos that I'm doing before I start the series. So, and these are videos that will also give you advice and help you in what you're doing. In this video, I'm going to give you advice and information about working in the craft and how to be comfortable in your practice and as yourself. And there will also be useful information that you need to know when working in the craft. And I'm going to bring all of this information, all of this out to you so that you have a path that you can follow and you can feel a little bit more confident in yourself when you are coming into doing your work and your studying and bringing yourself into your true and ethnic self, my lovely new witches. So here are some key points that I've wrote out on my sheet. This has all been wrote out by me, but these are key points that I feel that every beginner witch, any new witch coming into the craft really needs to know. So I'm going to give you some key points that I feel that you need to know before you consider coming into the craft and working in the craft. This information will help you to get started and will give you something to use and something that will guide you and something that you can go back to in the future as well. It will also be a form and a way that you could go back to and see your progress. As I stress and make it very clear, it's really important to always make sure that anything that you're doing, whether you're following somebody else or you're reading books, any information that you get through your education, anything you get through connection, through meditation, when you're doing your rituals, anything you get in dreams, anything that is remotely connected to you awakening as the witch and as your true self, journal it, write it down. These will be things you'll be able to go back to. These will be things that you'll be able to look at and see how far you've come. These will also be guidances that will be there and then will give you that little nudge when maybe you're doubting yourself. We are all human by all. And we do still have our moments where things affect us and things upset us and we're not quite sure where we're going. It is part of being human. Okay. But the great thing about it is, as witches, we learn to be able to establish those problems, face those problems, and remove those problems. And as you go through your craft, you'll be able to do the same. And having books, writing things down really helps you to see how far you come. And it's also stuff that you can hand to other people in your family. Maybe you've got a small family, you've got children that are still very young, but you're a part of a witch family and you know that they're going to take that way. They will have information and knowledge from you that they can continue, which means it will continue your legacy and what you build in your craft. So it's an amazing thing to do. So blogging, writing, journaling, anything is key when working in the craft. And there's always new things that you'll get in. Deities might connect with you. They might tell you certain spells that they want you to make. They might tell you and point you into the directions of the herbs that they want you to get, things like that. So all of this is really key to write down. You want to remember these really cool spells that your deities have given to you and told you to perform and they've worked. You want to be able to remember them. And some of these, spells can be short and really simple to remember. Some of them a bit more bigger and quite a lot more herbs and other things that need to go into it and not quite so easy to remember it all. So having a book and writing it down is key. And this is why all of you fellow witches will normally be instructed to get things like your grimoire or your shadow books. Now, a lot of witches will see shadow books and grimoires as the same thing. I individually see them as two different factors. Okay. So my grimoire book is where I put all my prayers, my ritual spells, where I put all my invocations and openings to my deities, anything that's to do with my ritual side of things and invoking, empowering rituals, empowering ceremonies and things like that. All of that goes into my grimoire. My shadow book is my book where I write all of my spells that I have performed and know that work. Also, where I will put maybe other types of spells that I make in other things. So maybe like you make bath salts or you make that are for different reasons and for different health problems and different situations. Maybe you're somebody that makes candles and you make spells in your candles. You can write all of the ingredients and all of your different spells in your shadow book. And it's something that you can go back to. It's also the book that I normally will write down all of my openings when I work in nature and I do spells and workings to do with nature. Anything that I am educated and given by them will be put in my shadow book. Okay, where with my grimoire it's more the opening, closing spell prayers, and any invocations, anything that's important. It's also where you would put your witches read and the threefold law, and where you would write your opening to the craft, your dedication to the craft, and your reasons for being in the craft. These books both are individually very important and help you in your path, and are books that you should use on a regular basis, writing all of your new spells and stuff down. It's not always as simple as just looking in books and taking spells from books. Experiment and be yourself. There are many different types of herbs and stuff and oils and things out there that can be used for many different reasons. So take the basic information and guidance, yes, but make your spells, your working, and who you are, make that individual and your own magic. Okay. Nobody is supposed to be the same. Yes, books and people are there for you to take guidance and education from, but they're not there for you to completely follow what they do. You will grow into your essence and your energy, and you will know how you want your spells to be. You will know the things that you feel most connect to the scenario or topic that you're going into. For instance, you've got two witches and they're put in front of you, and they're both asked to perform a protection spell. Both witches put different types of herbs in, different oils. They do their wording and their intentions differently. This is neither right or wrong. This is your craft. That's how you wish to be. That's how you're comfortable, and your diets are comfortable with you working as. Okay. There is no wrong way to be in the craft. The only things we do specify is always honor, respect, and show gratitude to your deities and to all that you do. Okay, that is something you should do on a regular and daily basis. Even if you don't light your altars and things up every day, always give your thanks and your gratitude for what you have. And always make sure that you ask if there's anything that they want you to help them with. You will find ways to learn how to connect with them, whether this is through talking to them through meditation or through cards or through some sort of divinization tool like a pendulum or anything like that. Whether it's talking your subconscious voice that's in your head, which is where they connect with, whether it's a feeling, emotion, or a vision that you see, whether it's signs that you're seeing in the universe itself, numbers, different items such as like leaves, feathers, stones, anything. All you need to know that in this world, everything that we see and have around us has a spiritual, a significant meaning. Okay, it's all about research, study, and learning. And these are key points that you need to be educating and learning yourself in as well. Knowing different signs and different ways that the universe and the divine reach out to you as well as learning how to feel and know that within you and through certain tools maybe that you use as well. It's really important to do that. So for all of you beginner witches, you can follow these instructions and take this advice if you wish to. All it's here to do is to help you to understand and to know what to expect when becoming a witch and coming into the craft. And it also will help you to understand yourself spiritually waking up. Okay. Now, for a lot of you, maybe you've already been awakened. You've had maybe a traumatic situation that has happened and you had an opening and an awakening. Maybe some of you haven't awakened yet and you're seeking that awakening. Maybe for some of you, you're going through that awakening. It's really important and really clear to understand that when that awakening happens, that connection happens, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, okay? The whole point of being awakened is that you awaken from your old self to become your new self. And sometimes in your old self, there's been a lot of trauma, a lot of trouble that you're going to have to reface in your new self to become your greater self. Okay. So your awakening can be quite traumatic and quite confusing at times. But once you have that experience, once you open, you get a different sense of feeling and you see the world in a different way, and you realize just how much more important your life and the value of life is. Okay. So, like I said, some of you might have had it, some of you might be going through it, some of you may not have had it yet, but you're searching for that moment, that special time where you know that you are coming into your new self. Okay. Every day when you're growing, when you're doing this work, when you're working on your energy, when you're working on your power, when you're working on your craft, you are opening and you are awakening. Some of your awakening experiences are pleasant, some of them will not be, because it is about looking back and contemplating on where things might have gone wrong, where things have been difficult. Because being in the craft and being a witch means that we are open to letting go of what's happened to us, and that we're open to being more at peace with ourselves and being able to become the greater self. And that means letting go of those things that have burdened us and help not been good for us in the past. Okay. Excuse me a minute, guys, got to do my nose again. So just remember that, and just know that you're guided and you're protected and you're worked with at all times by your deities, by the divine, and by your own intuition and belief as well, guys. So it's really important to remember that and to understand that. And I am back again. I do apologize. So the first factor that I want to speak to all of you lovely newcomers out there is about the titles. Okay. Now, for a lot of us, we're really comfortable with calling ourselves witches, and where we live, people are mixed in their views and what they believe witches are. So, for some of us, like myself, I'm comfortable to go around and call myself a witch. I'm not really bothered by what other people think. My ethnic is my ethnic, and if I want to be that way, I will be that way, and I'm proud of it. But for some of you, you may be in continences and places where people are not so open and forthcoming to witchcraft and people that call themselves witches, and you're worried about calling yourself a witch. You can know that you're a witch within, but you can call yourself any other name. You could call yourself a spiritual practitioner, a magical practitioner. You could call yourself a light worker, a soul worker, anything that you want. You don't have to call yourself a witch. It's really important that I clarify that to you. I do get, and a lot of other witches that have been in this for a long time understand that sometimes it's not so easy to put yourself out there as a witch, and that some people may not look at that or agree with that in the right way. So you need to be careful with how you act and what you say, and you maybe want to keep your practice private and away from others, and that is completely fine. It's all about you working in a way that makes you feel comfortable and where you know that you ain't going to be feeling like you're being discriminated against. So you do not need to go by the title a witch. Okay. You can know that you're a witch inside, but have a completely different name. You could just go by a spiritual name and just say that you work with the light and you just like to help and do good things for others. It's however you feel that title fits you and helps you. Okay. So remember that and hold that in place. The second one, research, study, and education is key when coming into the craft and becoming a witch. You need to know about all elements of the craft, all elements of becoming a witch. You need to understand how to connect with deities and energies. You need to be able to learn how to cast spells and how to use your intention and do that correctly. It's also really important to know that you need to learn how to control what you think, you say, and you feel. Because when you start working in the craft and you do magic, your spells start before you pick up your tool and you put your herbs in a cauldron or a burning pot. Your spells start the minute that you think, you speak, and you feel them. So always be careful with your intentions, because you can make things happen before you've even cast the spell. So always be sensible. And this is why I say to you that in the beginning years of you doing your craft, you do not work or help other people. You can work on protection, happiness, self-love, spells, things like that to help to build your confidence in spell work. It may be okay to do that on you and your close family. Like, that's fine. But don't go doing it to individuals that you don't really know. It's really important that you have that education, that knowledge, and that understanding before you consider casting spells and doing all of this magical stuff. It all starts with being at home. It all starts with studying and education and practice. Okay. And practice within yourself, not on others. That is really important to know. And education is key. That's how you become greater and you become more understanding of who you are and what you're supposed to be. As I say, practice makes perfect. Okay. It's very important that you understand how to cast spells. It's really important to be able to know and to understand the tools that you will be working with, whether this is on your altar or these are things that you're using if you're outside or wherever you're deciding to do your workings. It's really important that you understand your tools, you understand how to cast spells. Another factor that is important is looking into factors on how to keep yourself, your secret space, safe and protected at all times. When using magic and using spells and working with deities is always very key and very important to protect yourself. And it's always important to cleanse and do cleansing rituals and ceremonies and things on a regular basis to keep your energy balanced and positive. Okay, so that's another factor that I feel that all of you as new beginners need to understand. Cleansing your secret spaces. This can be sage, palo santo wood. You can have this in the herb form or you can use incense sticks. It's completely up to you. So sandalwood, palo santo wood, sages. Some people will use lavenders and other things in plant form or in incense form, just herbs that are associated with cleansing, blessing, and protecting. Okay, using that, lighting up white candles to bring in the protection energy as well, putting out protection crystals and things that you use, wearing protection amulets, things that will protect you and keep you safe in your craft and when you're out and about. Okay, it's really important that you have the understanding of these things. So when learning to do your cleansings and protections, also look into symbols and amulets and things that you can buy and use and draw, write, whatever. You will need to learn all of these important aspects in your craft. Okay, these are going to be things that keep you safe as well as helping you to perform your magic. So it's really important. Hang on a minute. Look into how you set up altars, how you cleanse altars, things that are expected to be put on certain altars, because in certain seasons we have celebrations, the 8 Sabbats, and we may make our altars different for all of these 8 Sabbats, putting different things that represent and work with that time that we're celebrating. So looking into your altar, looking at how to set your altar up, looking at how you can cleanse your altar, because these are all things that are really important as well. When doing spell work and working and doing your energy, it's really important that when you're doing each spell in your cauldrons, in your burning pots, and in your secret space, always cleanse after each spell. You do not want to be mixing and mashing all these different spells up. When you use your incense and you use your cauldron and you've been doing it to do positive things and things to help others, it doesn't matter what sort of scenario it is. Keeping hold of your incense ashes and stuff, put them in a jar. You can use these to amplify spells that would be for protection, for positive, for happy, good energy, luck energy, whatever. So having incense ashes and naming them in your pot so you know what is what, you can add those sort of things into your spells and stuff as well. So it's really important to know that and know how to set your altars up. The next thing is working with your deities. Learn how to work with your deities, learn about your deities, learn about what they like and what they don't like, what you should offer them, how you can work with them, what times of the year can you work with them, what elements of the moon phases can you work with them? And sun phases. Um, what are their likes? Sort of faith and religion in your witchcraft are they connected to? So what season and element? All of these are really important to understand about your deities, as well as learning how to communicate and connect with them. These are all really key aspects. And your deities, your guides, and all of these sort of energies are the ones that guide and walk with you through your path and your journey, and are the energies that normally help you, influence you, and gift you when it is deserved. Okay. So always remember to show your love, your honor, and your respect to them. And always, always remember that they're there, and do your best by them, and educating about them, learning about them, and gradually opening and building a relationship with them is really important. You need to have a relationship, and you need to have an understanding with your deities that you work with. It's not as simple as just walking into a place, set up an altar, pick up your wand, and just call on a deity. No, you've got to have a relationship, and you've got to have an understanding for them as well. Because as you're going in there blind, which is dangerous, if you don't understand or know something about something, don't mess with it. That is why education and study is key. You will also need to learn how to cast spells. So starting off with small spells like love, protection, um, self-love, um, happiness, spells that you can just work on yourself and see if it happens. See if you see a change in yourself. See if you see a change in a situation that you might be having. As I said, do not cast on other people when you're learning, but you can learn for yourself. You can call upon your deities, learn to bring your deities into your castings and your spells, and they will be able to show you, and you will, in the end, know when spells have been successful. You'll learn by the ways that candles do certain things. Maybe you might get a sign within the mind's eye showing that it's done. You might feel a calmness and be like, okay, yeah, that it feels like it's gone through. You will learn your ways of knowing when things are completed. Okay, and casting spells is a really important thing that you need to learn. But all of that again comes with your research, study, and education first. Okay, don't go running before you can walk. Okay, key fact is studying, education, and teaching first, practicing. Once you get to that place, you'll know because you'll be confident. You would have done spells and they would have worked. Then maybe that's when you will heighten it, and maybe start going to a little bit further out, and maybe working on some of your more further out family members or friends and people like that, seeing if there's a scenario or a situation that they may be in, and trying to help them. But always remember never to just cast a spell on someone. Always ask them if they want the help, or if they come to you asking for help, that's fine. But don't just go upon yourself to start doing things on people without asking them. Unless it's your immediate family, like your children or your husband, and you're just doing protection spells and things like that, that's fine. But for your big spells, no. And your big spells, you shouldn't even be thinking about in your beginning years. You should be learning your basic spells and learning about opening your rituals, learning about how to do it correctly. This is all that is key at the moment. And this all needs to be done before you come into the craft and you officially announce yourself as a witch. You need to do this. Do not be scared to watch others. Do not be scared to buy books and do education. I'm not saying that books or anything is bad. All I'm saying is just don't take everything from books and from others, okay? Use your own power and your own energy. So there are many ways that you can get educated and learn about things and become more confident in yourself. And you can also reach out and ask for help to people that you follow and you feel that are really good at what they do. The next thing to learn and to know is that you don't need to know everything when you come into the craft. As long as you've done your education and your teaching and you're studying into you, the path you want to take, how to work with your deities, and how to cast your basic spells. You're already on that path, okay? You don't need to know everything else, okay? Because that will come to you as you walk your path and your journey and you work more with your deities, okay? All will open and all will awaken within you and all will become understanding. You'll know what you're supposed to do. You'll understand the different signs. You'll understand the different ways that you do things. Coming into the craft and dedicating to yourself to the craft is meaning that you are putting yourself there to grow and to become in your greater essence, okay? And you don't need to be able to know everything to do that. You will learn, you will grow as your journey and your path is walked by you, okay? And another way that you'll learn, obviously, as I said, is by reading books, watching programs, watching your favorite practitioners online. Um, all of this will help you to walk on your path. And this will all help you to become better within yourself and to become more understanding of the craft. Okay. It's all about you learn as you grow. Okay. And that's how we've all learned to get where we are in our practices. And perfect, practice makes perfect, as we say. Another factor that I think is really, really important that I say to everybody is don't try to be like anyone else. You are your ethnic self. You have been given your abilities. You have been given your calling, your awakening for a reason. No person in this world is the same, whether they're a spiritual practitioner or they're just a normal person. Nobody is the same, not even a twin, even though identical twins look completely the same. There will be things in them that are different. And it's no different in our craft, okay? It's okay, as I said, to follow others, to read books, to do things, take advice and things like that. But make your craft and your magic your own. Okay. You do not have to be going completely by a book or going completely by what somebody has educated you. You can take small factors that you believe in and you can take other factors and be like, right, okay, I do like what they do, but I would change that and I'd make that this way. I wouldn't use those herbs, I'd do these herbs. Do it. This is your way. This is your calling. Your deities will work with you and learn you the way that they want you to. We can give you advice. We can help you to walk your path and to become confident. But in the end, it is your magic and your power that is your own. And you will come to realize that. And you will come to realize that there may be things that you were educated in the past. And now that you're more established in your craft, you'll realize that some of the things you learned then and you thought was the way isn't the way and that you've learned your way of doing that. So always be yourself. Do not try to be like anyone else. Do not try to be completely like what a book tells you to be like. The whole point of being in the craft and being a witch is that you work in your own magic and your own ethnic. Okay. Some of you will want to be solitary witch, working on your own, not working with others. Some of you may work with a few witch sisters. I do every now and again, but I am a solitary witch. But I do have sisters I trust and I work with. Some of you may not feel comfortable working on your own, and you might want to be in a coven or a spiritual circle where there's other fellow witches like yourself, and where you have a bit more of a disciplined area. Everybody's path is different, and no path is wrong, okay? But it is really important to remember to always be your own ethnic self and your own power. That is what you're given and gifted it for, okay? Just make your magic your own. Make your elements your own. There is nothing else that you need to be doing. You will learn as you go on. And it's really important to know that. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't try to take away from your own power and your own magic and your own amazing way. Okay. Just be you. Another factor that I think is really important to share with you are about gods and goddesses. Now, I know that for myself, when I first started out in the craft, I only worked with my nature spirit, which is my fire elemental Aurora. Okay. And I had my grandmother's spirit, and I had my other spirit called Darius, and I had the energies of the mothers that I would work with when I first started out years and years and years ago. And I had no intentions at that time of working with any gods and goddesses until I came into communication with Hecate due to some situations and difficult times that I was going through. She was my first goddess in energy that I worked with. But for a long time, I didn't work with any form of god or goddess. I only worked with the mothers and I only worked with the energies that I had known all of my life. So it's really, really clear and important to let you understand and to know that even though I give you education on different types of god and goddesses, and it is important to look all of them up, whether you're thinking of working with them or not, still read up, research about them because maybe in the future you may decide to. But you do not need to work with gods and goddesses if you don't choose to. It is not vital. You can use universal energy. You can use the God energy, like Jesus's energy, the Lord's energy, if you feel to. You can use universal energy, as I said. You can use the energies of the mothers, Mother Earth and Mother Nature. Okay. Um, you don't have to work with gods and goddesses for you to get your spell work to be working right. Okay, all of the deities and energies I've just mentioned to you are your higher and divine energies. They know everything about you, they know about your path, they know what you're supposed to be, and they know what you need to become that. Okay, so they will do all of the work that your gods and goddesses would do because your gods and goddesses work under them. Your goddesses and gods are part of them. Okay, so even if you don't call out to a god and a goddess like Hecate and Cananos, for instance, which I'm two of my deities, I've got quite a few. If you don't have those forms of gods and goddesses, it's fine. Just use your mothers, use your lord, use whatever energy it is that you worship and you follow. Okay, this is the whole point of it. You do not need to necessarily work with gods and goddesses for casting spells and working magic. Okay, any deity that you worship and that is of divine power will do the same thing with you. Everybody works differently, everybody is individually different. Okay, and it's no different in faiths. So don't sit there and come into the club and think, oh my God, well, I've got to work with gods and goddesses. I've got to do this, do that. No, you haven't. You can just be basic and work with your universal energy. You could work with the mothers. You could work with the Lord. It's whatever you feel is right. But don't close out the God and goddess aspect. Okay. Still research, study, and learn about them because, as I said, as your path grows, you may realize that you're being pulled to working with certain energies and deities for very good reasons. Some of you may not. Okay, but it's still a really important thing to do. And what you've got to remember is if you are somebody that's coming in to the craft and you've got family that are really small and you want them to be like you in the future, they may want to work with gods and goddesses. So having that information there is key for all aspects. Even if you don't work with them, somebody really close to you may. Okay, so and it's good to have that understanding and information about gods and goddesses as well, because you may meet other fellow practitioners that do work with gods and goddesses, and you'll know about the energy, you'll know about the essence if you do decide that you're going to do a spell with them and help them and things like that, and help boost their energy power that they're doing. They may be using a specific energy and deity. If you've got that awareness of that deity, then you know what you're working with. Okay, so it is really important to still educate and understand them, even if you're not going to work with them. And it's also really important to understand that you do not need to work with any form of energy. You don't even have to work with the Lord or the Mother Earth or Mother Nature. You could just work with the universal energy. It's whatever you feel. Just researching and studying in that and understanding that, and you will be absolutely fine. Okay. The next thing that I think is really important, especially for those that are working with deities and energies, right? Now, there are different forms of dedication. Okay. So I want to talk to you about self dedication and full dedication. Now, self dedication for me, in the way that my deities and stuff have learnt me to be, self dedication is not where you're fully dedicating to the deity or the energy, but you are dedicating to the aspects of working with them, learning, and growing with them. learning to be more open in your practices, allowing them to educate, teach, and give you wisdom. So you're self dedicating to them. So you're opening your heart to them to be taught, to be taught, and to be guided, but you're not fully dedicating to them. You're not doing a soul contract dedication to them. You are simply opening and allowing them to come in and help you to grow in your ethnic way. You will also in that structure as well be building a relationship with your deities. It's really important to understand that you need to have relationships with your deities and you need to have understanding of who they are and what they're about as well. So this is again key for education, studying and research. Okay. um so self discovery is a lot about connecting and bonding and building your relationship with your deities. It's about you learning to work with each other and be comfortable with each other's work ethic. Okay. Then, when your time and your years go by and you're really comfortable in who you are and you're open in who you are and you feel really good, and you've had a few of these deities that have been with you for a long time, and you feel that they have really encouraged you and pushed you in a way that you want, like regularly in your life, then you would go to your full dedication or your soul contract dedication, okay, which is where you open your heart to your gods, your goddesses, your deities, okay. You would do a ceremony and a ritual also opening and binding a contract with them, saying that you will do their work, you would do their deed, and you would do all that they ask of you. Okay. You're no longer a self dedicated person that is learning. You've now become their their trainee, as I would say. Even though you are educated and you know stuff, you're going to be their messenger. Okay. You're going to be their worker. You're going to be the person that bears their messages, brings out their energy and things like that. So you become greater in their eyes then. Yourself your self dedication is where you're learning to work with them, where you're learning to work in your craft, where you're building and you're growing yourself. Your full dedication or your soul dedication is when you already know yourself as a practitioner. You have already had good benefits with your deities and they have helped you through many things. And you feel that you want to fully give yourself over to them. You want to be their messenger. You want to be their bearer. Okay. And that is when you do those sort of things and you'll do your ceremonies and rituals, whether this is something that you do at home and you put out some nice flowers for them, you do a beautiful ceremonial speech and script to them, you you do an opening to them saying that you will be their loyal worker and companion, things like that. Some people, if you're in covens and you're in spiritual circles, then you will have big ceremonies done where you will take bread and you'll take wine and you will be blessed in the energy of the gods and the goddesses and to be in part of that deity and be in that deity's essence. Okay, so I thought that that was really important to understand as well. So when you first start coming into your craft and you start working with energy and you decide you want to start working with certain deities that you've looked and researched about, you do not have to full dedicate straight away. You can just self-dedicate. All you need to do is make sure you put your intentions clear to them, saying, I do wish to work with you and build my relationship, but I do not feel to fully dedicate to you till I get to know you and get to know how we work together. As long as you make it clear to them what you're wanting to do, they're normally fine with that. And a lot of the deities that you find and you work with in that way, you find that you fully dedicate to in the end. I did it with Hecate when I first worked with Hecate, and I had in my life, I was self dedicated to her. Okay. So I was open to and willing to learn and to be educated, to learn her wisdom, and for her to help me in my spell work and my crafting and stuff like that. And being the mother of witches as well, it was just ideal. Over the years, Hecate, along with other energies and deities that I work with and spirit, they got me through some really dark and difficult times. Okay. And through that and the battles and the shadow work that I'd done with Hecate, I found that she saved me in so many ways. So then I become fully dedicated to her. I become soul contracted, dedicated to her. Okay. I'd done a ceremony. I ate bread. I drank wine. I shared that with her. I'd done my openings, I'd done speeches, I'd done my full dedication. I gave my soul and heart to her, that I would be her loyal companion, that I would work for her, and that I would do the better of the light. I would do good. I made my intentions clear. And this is really important in any form of work that you do with your deities, whether you're fully dedicated to them or not. Always make your intentions and what you're needing for you. And when you get to that point where you are able to help others, make the intentions of what others need really clear. You need to be really clear on what you're doing, as you could completely make the spell be wrong or the ritual. Okay, so be clear and just know that you do not need to self-dedicate. You do not need to fully dedicate to your deity straight away. Self-dedicate, which is where you're learning, opening, and you're growing in the essence of them and in yourself. Okay, you're building a relationship, a bond. You're entwining with each other. Once you reach structures where you feel you've been fully supported by them, you feel that you need to be so much more to them. You want to be the messenger. You want to be the one that does the education for them to others. Then you would do your full dedication. You would do your soul dedication. Okay. And when you do those sort of ones, the soul dedications, you don't walk away from that. You have made a contract with that energy to always be loyal, open, and to work with them. And it would not go down too well if you did try to break that bond and that seal. Okay, they all come with consequences. Not saying you're going to get hurt, but some things in your life may not go right for a little while. I'm just saying that to you. Always be sure about what you're doing, and always make sure that you're sure about the deities that you're thinking of fully dedicating to as well. Okay, you need to have a long relationship with them and have a deep understanding for them before you even consider doing that sort of thing. And it won't always just be one deity you work with. You may find that you work with several. I do. I work with Hecate, Bridget, Freya, and Sister Moon. I work with Mother Earth and Mother Nature, obviously. Then on the God side, I work with Brother Sun. I work with the Lord himself. And I also work with Kananos, Odin, and the Green Man. Even though the Green Man, Green King is considered to be in Kananos, I see them as two completely different energies, and so do some other people in the craft as well. So I see them as two completely different energies, even though they've got similarities. So I have the Green King, Green Man, I have Kananos, I have Odin, I have Brother Sun, and I have the Lord. Okay. And there are always new energies and stuff that are coming forward to me that may show that they need to work with me in time. That's another thing you need to realize as well. Sometimes some deities will only work with you for a short period of time and will step in that time that they're needed, then they will step back when they've been done. Some deities will come and go where others will stay with you regularly. They are your soul contracts. Yeah, the ones that you're supposed to be with completely. So it's really important to understand that and to know that, and that these aspects in your craft are really important. And even if you don't, like I said, work with gods and goddesses and stuff like that, you've still got your mothers and you've still got other universal energies and things you can work with. And you would still need to be self-dedicated to that, and then be dedicated to that as well, because you are doing its purpose pretty much. Let's see if I've missed anything else off of that bit. But yeah, like I said, and other energies like that as well is obviously your guides, your spirits and energies that you work with. It's not just your gods, goddesses, and your universal and divine energies. You've got spirits, you've got spirit guides, animal guides. All of these are deserve respect and honor, deserve to be studied and looked into before you start working with them. And they all have a form of way that you can dedicate to them. Okay, they're there to to help you, to enhance you, to bring that magic out more. They don't have to do that. Okay, if they do that, it's because they like something about you. They choose to work with you. So be, you know, have gratitude for that, and be happy that they want to do that with you. Another thing that's really important to understand in the craft and becoming a witch as well is that for some people that you might come into your practice and only have like one form of way that you want to be. okay, in your practice. So, for instance, when I first started out in witchcraft, I was really about nature. I loved nature, and that's where I mainly worked with. But through doing work with nature and working with certain deities and energies that I worked with, I found other paths and doorways opening for me as well. And the, looking into paganism and Wiccan and realizing I had certain elements of that, I then decided to call myself an eclectic witch and a solitary witch. I called myself a solo witch yesterday. It's a solitary witch, guys. Um, but a solitary witch is somebody that works on their own, does their own magic, writes their own scripts, has their own ways of working with deities, don't follow what other people and things educate them in. I've not been somebody that's been educated by other people, and I've not really been somebody, even though I've got books and I like reading books on craft, the books have never really influenced me in that way. I've maybe took little bits from it, and I thought, yeah, I could make that into something, make it better. But in general, all of my work has just been from through myself and my work with my deities and energies and stuff like that. So at first, I thought I was just a witch that worked with nature, so a nature witch, okay, a green witch. Then over time and practice and becoming greater, I realised that I had other interests. I realised that I had always loved the moon and always loved talking to the works of the moon. So the moon element was in me, the crystal element was in me, obviously my nature element. Um, on top of those elements, I also had belief in some paganism factors and some of the Wiccan factors as well. Um, and then as time went on, I found that there was a lot of beneficial parts of magic in many traditions that I come to like, which is when I decided to go from being a green witch and then going into being an eclectic witch. An eclectic witch is somebody that has many forms of craft that they believe in, and they work and use that together. Okay. And they bring in that aspect and they work it in their own way. They form their own type of magic, bringing these elements in, as well as maybe having some rules and ways that they follow as well. So I become an eclectic witch, and it's really important that you guys understand that as well. You may come in with the consideration of just being one type of witch, but through your practice and educating and growing and becoming greater, you'll realize that you've got other areas that you're really interested in. So then you will just find that you've got several different witch titles and stuff like that. Just go around and call yourself a witch or a spiritual practitioner, okay? A witch is a witch. It don't matter how many different elements a witch has or how many different types of witches are in this world. In my fact, a witch is just a witch, okay? And it doesn't matter if you're a sea witch or a crystal witch or you're a hearth witch or a head witch. These are just all element and names that are given to describe a witch. But for a lot of us, we all have different elements within us. Some of us will only work through one practice, but we'll bring other elements into it. For some of us, we have several different practices we believe in and several different ways that we work, and we enhance and bring that all together, like myself. Okay. So always be prepared that you may start with one practice and may find that you have other interests that come in and that you have more than one path in your journey. And just remember that your journey is your own and it doesn't belong to anybody else, okay? And you act, be, and work the way that you want. As long as you've got honor, respect, gratitude, and you're sensible in what you do, be yourself. There is no right way to write down your scripts. There is no right way to do prayers. You can write your own prayers and scripts. You can do it through music, dance, whatever, however you feel to do it. Okay. Do it your way. Don't be like anybody else. Okay. I'm just going through what I'm writing, making sure I'm getting everything that I need to be talking to you about. You'll find that in a lot of what you do and certain elements of practice you go in, you'll feel a calling from your deities and energies showing you aspects and areas and places they feel that you need to be looking into as well, whether these are through signs, visions, them speaking to you directly, you're reading a book and certain words start jumping out at you. And then you do a card pull to see what this means, and it kind of gives you a message on what you need to be doing. Whatever way it is that they communicate with you, they will always call out and reach out to you when there are things that are important and should be in what you're doing. Okay. Always listen and know what you're doing. Listen to how you feel. Feel how you feel. Always be open to seeing what you need to be seeing as well. It's really important to always be connected with your your consciousness, okay, with your emotions, okay. In the craft, a lot of it is all about using your mind and using your heart, okay. It's about having belief, having that self inner power, okay, and a lot of that comes from intention, in vision, and belief, okay. So it's really important to understand that when you're coming into this practice, that you really do need to be open, you need to be in tune, and you need to be open to being educated and growing in what you're doing as well. Your deities and energies will learn you to do that, as well as you doing it yourself by experimenting and doing different things and being willing to be open to doing these things. Okay. So that's a really important thing to do as well and to remember. Another element that is really important, and as I've just said, belief. Okay. When you come into the craft or you come into spirituality, whether you're becoming a witch and you're coming in the craft, or you're just somebody that wants to be spiritually open and being more in tune and feel and hear more different things, you need to have belief. But it starts with belief. You need to believe in what you're doing. You need to never question what you get, what you feel. And it's easy to do that. I do it sometimes. Other people I know have done it. They question. It's normal. We're human. But be sure in what you're doing. When it comes to casting your work, when it comes to you spiritually opening and connecting and being your true self, always have belief. You need to believe in everything that you see, do, and feel. Never question what you see, feel, and do. Okay? And always listen when you are being guided. Always listen to what is right and what is wrong. Okay. Always be awakened and be open to receiving signs and guidance from the higher powers, the divine, your gods, your goddesses, whatever sort of energy that you worship and you work with. Okay. Always be open to getting signs from them, whether that is a sign through them speaking to you, giving you a vision within your third eye, your mind's eye, whether that is that you read, pick up a book and you're getting certain messages at, from words in the book, or you've pulled a card, or you've walked outside and you've found a feather, or you've gone outside the same time 3 days in a row and you've seen the same bus with the same number. It's a sign from the universe. Look up what the numbers mean. Look up what the numbers in the time means. These are all links and signs. There are signs in every aspect of our world, guys. Okay, everything from trees, plants, people, animals, tools, crystals, rings, boots, uh, horseshoes. Everything in this world has a spiritual significance. So if you're seeing certain things coming to you randomly all the time and you can't work out and it's happening at a certain time, these are signs of the universe. Are you getting a certain bird that keeps showing up to you? Okay, birds and animals are around you all the time, but are they turning up to you in a weird way? Are they turning up to you when you are feeling down and you're calling out for help? Does this bird suddenly turn up and sit on your porch and is looking at you, listening to you? Do you feel that that energy doesn't just feel like a bird? You feel somebody's there trying to connect with you? These are all signs. These are all the universe talking to you. The universe use all these elements to communicate with us, whether they're animals, people, or an item. Okay, they talk to us in many, many ways. It's not always as simple as them standing in front of you, seeing them and hearing them. Okay, sometimes it's within, sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes it's a knowing, sometimes it's seeing things. All of these are signs and the things that you need to learn to look into as well. So again, research and studying, looking into different elements and things, looking into what card meanings mean, Look into what charm things mean. Look into what things in the world that you see. You might be out and you're drawn to a certain flower, or you might be drawn to a certain shaped necklace in an animal shape, and you go and look that animal up and it's significant to something that you're maybe feeling that day or that you have been feeling. These are all signs, and they're ways of them communicating with you, because they're very aware that not all of us are physically open like myself. I can see, feel, hear them. I can communicate with them. I talk to nature. I can hear trees, talk to communicate with trees. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that I always hear their voices. Sometimes I hear the voices of the spirit of the tree. Yeah. But a lot of my hearing, sensing, and feeling of them is by touching them. There are so many different ways that you see, feel, and hear, guys, and it's really important to be able to understand that. You need to be in tune to be spiritually open. And you need to be in tune to be able to work with the deities. And it doesn't mean being open in the way that you see, feel, and hear, but being open to the point that you will know when you feel something, sense something, you'll know that something's off or something feels right. You need to be open in that way. And it's really important. And there's a lot of exercises and things you can do, such as meditations, taking 5 minutes out for yourself and having self contemplation, putting meditation music on. Um, just sitting there writing things out, asking out to them, then pulling cards. Whatever way excuse me, what way you feel to be communicating with them, do that. Okay, that is them bringing forward to you their ways of communicating with you, and you will learn as time goes on what your different deities' energies feel like, what they're wanting from you. You'll learn what the elements of the world is about and what you need to be doing and what you don't need to do, and you will learn to tune into that. Practice makes perfect. The more you practice, the more you believe, the better and greater and stronger you become. And this is really important in using magic and stuff. And a lot of your magic and your workings and essence of who you are will start with that. You need to be able to feel, sense, and hear, because you're going to be using intention. You're going to be using envisioning. You're going to be using all of those elements in your magic at all times. So it's really important that you do that and you believe in what you're doing. By doing that, your path, your journey will become stronger, and you will become your true and powerful self. The next one, other things that I think are really important for you to look into when becoming a witch and when you are in your studying, research, and education stages, my beautiful beginner witches, learn about different witch symbols and protection symbols, symbols that radiate to your deities, symbols that radiate to certain spell work. Okay, so learning about different spiritual symbols, whether they are connected to deities, they are connected to things to do with the universe, whether they're things to do with protection, whatever that is, always look at witchy symbols because you're witches. Okay, so looking into different types of spiritual symbols and what they represent and they mean are really important. Other things to look into and to have an understanding and knowledge about are crystals. Crystals are another thing that you use a lot in magic, and crystals are natural items of our natural world. They hold a lot of natural energy and energy of different things. Okay, every crystal has its significant energy and power that is linked to do certain things. Okay, so looking into different names of crystals, what they represent, what they do, what's their essence and energy, how can you use them in certain spell work. So your crystals, the same with your herbs, the same as what you would do with your crystals. Look into your herbs, look into their benefits, look into the what they give. So for instance, you've got your sage. Your sage is protection, purification, cleansing. Okay, roses are a representative of love, but can also be protection. And you get my gist. Okay, look at the herbs. Look at what they can offer you in your craft. Okay, um, when getting your herbs and your crystals and things like that as well, always make sure that you go to spiritual and witch places. Make sure that the places you're getting your items from are legit. Okay, there are a lot of people out there that sell on things to people and it's not the real deal. Okay, so for, in my opinion, if you are somebody that can't grow your own herbs and stuff like that, and you need to confide in going to a shop or something, go to a witch shop, go to a spiritual shop where they significantly work for those reasons. Okay. Look up different aspects of feathers, colours, their meanings, their spiritual significance, just the same as your herbs and your crystals. Okay. Then looking up candles, looking up colours, looking how they can be represented in your workings, in your spell work. Also, colours of candles are really important for people that are working with deities and gods and goddesses and things. Gods, goddesses, and deities will have certain coloured candles that are represented to them, and that will be used for certain factors of the craft and magic that they do and that you're working with them to do. Okay, so candle colours, meanings, and significance. Okay, look into your tools, what your tools mean, what your tools represent, what certain tools are connected to gods and goddesses and feminine and masculine energies, how they're beneficial, how they work. Look into different deities, look into what they like, what they don't like, how they are celebrated, how they are worshipped, how they are loved, what you offer them, what things they're into. Um, all of these are really important aspects that you need to be looking into as a beginner witch and somebody coming into the craft. These elements are really important, and these are the elements that you really need to have a lot of education and studying and understanding of. Okay, because all of these things are going to be um, energies that you use in your craft and in your work. Okay, and as a witch, and I don't mean just in your casting, I mean, even in general life, when you become a witch and you become open, you're going to find you're going to need to carry crystals and certain herb bags and stuff around on you just to stop certain energy from trying to come to you because you're open. So these things are not just beneficial in your craft, they're beneficial in everyday life and to keep you comfortable, happy, and moving along nicely. Okay. So that's really important as well. Another aspect that's really important that I think that all witches should look into and all witches should follow, whether you're going to be a solitary witch, a solo witch, or a natural witch, anything that you're doing, whether you're going to be a coven witch or you're going to be a spiritual practitioner witch, whatever you're deciding to be, whether it's being at home and being on your own or working in a small group from your home or being in a massive big spiritual circle or coven, whatever it is, what is really important is that you learn about the witch's read. The witch's read is the read and the rules and the ways of witchcraft. All witches should be following this, no matter what type of witch you are or what sort of traditional practice that you're working in. That is really important to understand. So, looking into your witch's read, looking into the threefold law, which is more than threefold, believe me, you can get up to tenfold. Okay. So, looking into the laws of the folds as well, looking into different sorts of practices you can go in. You may be somebody that wants to work at home. So look at how you can work at home. Some of you may want to go into spiritual witch circles or covens. Look into different covens, look into different spiritual circles and find the one that most suits and links to you. Again, if you are somebody working from home, research, study, and build your home and your secret space to how you want it to be. Also looking into factors such as paganism and Wiccan. They are very much witch orientated and natural world orientated. And a lot of people that are in this form of work have some form of belief in one or the other or both. I have a bit of belief in paganism and in Wiccan. I do follow the witch's read, even though I'm a natural and I'm a solitary witch and I have learned everything by myself. I do follow the witches read. I do follow the threefold laws. There's some people that don't, but a lot of us do. Um, I've never been interested in being in spiritual circles or covens because I like to be in my own essence and in my own energy. But for some of you, that may be different, and you might like doing that. Some of you will like being at home, like me. So looking into your paganism and Wiccan as well is really good. You need to do these things to have a bit of a better understanding of the paths that you are going to take in the craft and your path as a witch. Okay. Also, other things that are really important as well as the witch reads and the threefold laws, looking into different types of places you can join up to, your different paganism and Wiccan beliefs and things like that. There are so many aspects to witchcraft that you do need to look into and have an understanding about. And I think it's really important that you do that, just to have that understanding, and just so that you know that you're on the right path, guys. Okay. And number 12, your goddesses, your deities, your guides, your spirit guides, animal guides. Always make sure that you put yourself into the deities that you work with and believe in already, or those that you're deciding to work with and wanting to be with. It's really key and important that you work uh, in studying, education, and research into different types of gods, goddesses, different types of spirit guides, such as your angels, your spirit guides, your human spirit guides, animal guides, your animal totems, um, your elders, ancestors. All of these energies of spirit and energies of higher divine power are really significant in our life. Universal energy. All of this is really good and really important in our craft as a witch and in our witchcraft itself that we're using. Okay. So always make sure that you do a lot of education, research, and studying into your deities, your gods, your goddesses, your Mother Earth, Mother Nature. Any practice that you're taking where you're working with certain energies, always make sure you do that research and have in-depth understanding of the energies that you're working with and the things that you should and shouldn't be doing with them. These are all key in doing that. In through doing that as well, looking into things that they're into. So what festivals are they linked to? What seasons are they linked to? What sorts of colours and ways can you put out to these deities? With some of your spirit guides and that, not so much. That normally they have like your angels and stuff will have a certain colour, just like your gods and goddesses will. Some spirits don't have any, but a lot of them do. So looking into the colours, looking at the festivals, looking at the seasons that they may be connected to, looking into different prayers for calling out to them, for protection, for invoking them, prayers for opening and closing rituals with them. All of these are things that you need to be looking into and having an understanding of, and these are will be things you need to write down as well. Look into what sort of spell work works with these deities. What spells do these deities stand for? What moon phases and sun phases do you use to work with these deities? The next thing is looking at different symbols and amulets that are connected to the deities that represent the deities. These are really important to understand about them as well as their names. Okay? Always study into the names, and also study and into the symbols and stuff that these will be things that you will use. I don't know if you missed that bit. So again, symbols are linked to the deities, to their energies. Okay, so symbols that will illustrate to you what they're about. These will be symbols you'll use in your rituals and in your spell work when you call upon their energy. You will put these amulets and these symbols and stuff out. So having that important understanding is really, really important to me, and I think that you guys do need to have that knowledge. Learn about your deities, traditions, and laws as well. A lot of deities have a certain law and tradition that they follow. So having knowledge and understanding of that as well, and representing that and following that as best as you can, are all ways of having a deeper understanding and connection with your deities. And it's also a way for you to build your relationship with your deities as well. It's really key and it's really important to understand that you do really need to be linked and connected to your deities. You have to be. You need to be understanding of your deities. You need to understand what your deities represent and give you. Okay. You can't just be in communication with them and not having any knowledge of them. Your gods, your goddesses, and your deities are very powerful and very connected energies to all things. Okay, and you need to be able to know who you're working with, what you're stepping in with, if they are correct and right for you. You know, you'll come into some deities and you'll start working with them thinking that that is what you're supposed to be doing and that you're meant to be working with them and things, but you may find that you're not connected to that. You're not connected to working with them in that way. You may find energies that you come into communication with and you'll be like, right, okay, yeah, these are who I want to work with, these are who I'm supposed to work with. And then you may find that over time, and as your practice comes on, you'll realize that those energies are not for you, and you may find interest in other energies. Always remember that when you go into doing this sort of thing, if you have been working with an energy and you realize that the energy is no longer for you anymore, always make sure that you dismiss it in a very respectful way. Tell them that you're thankful for the help that they have given to you and that you've realized that maybe your and their energy is not connected for working with at this time, but you very much acknowledge them and thank them for their help, and that you dismiss them and that they may leave. And obviously then you would be working towards trying to connect with your other new deities. You're not always going to come into communication with certain deities and stay with them. Some of them will end up being ones you don't want to work with them. Some of them will be ones you want to keep with you. Some of them will be ones that will only be with you for a short period of time because there is a reason for them being there and doing so. So it's really important to understand those important factors. Okay. And it's important to understand these things and know this before you fully open to spell casting and working in the craft. You need to have all of these understandings of everything and all of these topics that I've spoke to you about today, guys. It's really, really important. And with you being beginner witches and new witches, a lot of this you will be very much unaware of. And that is why these videos and these new series that I'm going to be bringing out are beneficial to you, because they will help you on your journey and they will also guide you and help you as well. There are going to be other videos and stuff as well that are going to be coming out that are going to be done by my sister Drew. She's going to be talking more about the educational side to do with divinization, which is your divine tools that you use, so cards, pendulums, dowsing rods. She'll also be doing videos where she talks about different tools on altars, what they represent, what they stand for, how feminine and masculine energies of your gods and goddesses can be connected to certain tools on your altars as well. So there's going to be a lot of different educational stuff that's going to be coming out. I'd started this series up, and my other sister and other sisters, I'm sure, will join in at some point as well, has decided that she wanted to put her own part in as well, which is really, really cool because it all works together. So please make sure that you are going to be looking out. And as I said to you in my show yesterday, I will say it again today. My actual series on learning you about different types of witches and their practices, learning you about the 8 Sabbaths and what they stand for and everything else, and also working with different types of gods and goddesses. So talking to you about different types of god and goddesses. So first I will start out with giving you and talking to you about the deities and goddesses and gods that I work with personally. And then I will be giving you some information on other types of gods and goddesses that I have not worked with but have some knowledge of. And it'll be the same with my witch stuff as well. I am not going to do every single different type of witch that is out there. I'm only going to really be putting out and forward the ones that are most known, with as much information on all of these topics as possible. So in about 2 weeks is when that series is going to start up. And that's when you're going to be starting to get these videos 3 times a week, where we will be talking about different types of gods, goddesses. This does include Mother Earth and Mother Nature and stuff as well. Brother Sun, Sister Moon. We'll all be talking about the different Sabbats, and we will be talking about the different types of witches, different types of gods, goddesses, and your Sabbats, guys. So just keeping an eye out there in education. It's really hard to try and keep up with what I'm talking about because there's so much stuff that I'm trying to educate you, which is hence the reason I write everything down that I'm going to be talking about. All the knowledge is there, wisdom is there, but sometimes your head goes into shutdown mode when you've been constantly busy working, which is what I've been doing. So my last little bit that I want to say to you is, yeah, keep an eye out for my channel first. 2 weeks time, all of these new series on, your witches, different types of witches, your different gods, goddesses, and your sabbats will be coming out. There will also be shows from Sister Drew as well about divinization and different tools and things that you can use in your spiritual and magical practice when it comes to being witches and stuff like that, and your altars. Okay, so there will be other educational videos that I will be putting out that is linked to these series as well, where it'll be shorter videos than what you've got here, but they will be ones with like little facts or and things like that. I have got a playlist that you can go to, and it is I think I did put it under Willow's Witchy Den. I'm sure of it. Oh, it might be Whispers of Willow and Willow's Witchy Den. Okay, there's a playlist on my YouTube where you can, and they are in my groups. Okay, if you go onto my YouTube, you won't find them, but if you go into my groups on Facebook, that a lot of you are tagged in, and I will put the tags in to my group on my chat on Facebook as well. Um, you'll be able to go over there, and in the top of my page, in the pinned section, all of the different playlists on my channel are there, and that playlist for these this types of education, which will have Drew's education videos and stuff in it as well, will all be situated there. But I do also have playlists that are related to my past education shows that I've done with Sister Drew and with our sister Mystical, and they are under Witchy 101 and Witchy 102, okay, and Witchy educational shows, which is another one. Okay, so there's loads and loads of stuff. If you're really into fairy sort of stuff, fairies and stuff like that, then you can go and look on my fairy playlists as well, because there's a lot of information about them there as well, because I'm into all of that. So my last bit that I want to say to all of my new and upcoming witches is just to be yourself. That you don't have to be full hands on. You do not have to like altars every day. Obviously, in the beginning, when you're learning, educating, you will find that you will like your altars quite a lot. You will communicate with your deities on a daily basis. But as you become established in your craft, you'll find that you don't need to light up your altars for everything that you're doing. You don't always need to cast spells for what you're doing. It can be as powerful using your intention and writing on paper, thinking it out loud, speaking it out loud, giving it to the universe. There will be so many different ways that you'll be able to do your witchcraft. So it's not always casting spells, lighting altars up, being constantly busy. You can be more laid back. So when you first start in the craft, your first few years will be you doing a lot of research and studying and practicing. You'll also learn to be more awakened and connected to the universe, your deities, and you will also become more in tune with your awareness and what's real and what is not. Being in the craft and being a witch changes you and how you see things. The first few years will show you what your path is and what you want your path to be in the craft. You may decide that the craft may not be for you, and that is fine. Your first couple of years are where you will establish these things if the craft is for you or not. It, being in the craft and doing these forms of work is all about learning and searching for your true self and your true path and power. Okay. It's important to remember, once you open to the craft and work with deities, it's not so easy to go away and to get away from it. Really know what you want first before fully dedicating, because stepping away from something you put yourself into is not as easy as stepping away from. When you work in the craft, you do it to help the world, to help others, and to find yourself. You don't start the craft to gain for yourself. You start the craft to find the better and the stronger and the true you. And because you want to bring change and goodness into the world, and because you want to make the world a better place for everyone and everything. There's always a purpose to you being called into the craft, and there's always a reason to why you want to do greater things. Being part of the craft means that you want to a better world. It means that you care about what happens in the world and what happens to others, and that you want to make a difference. There should always be a purpose to why you're being in the craft, and make sure that that purpose is not just to gain for yourself, but to help. It's okay to want to be better in yourself. It's okay to want things in your life, and it's okay to ask out for that. But always remember that when you ask for help and things are done for you, always remember to give back, and always show your respect and your gratitude and your honor to your deities. They don't need to do this. And when joining the craft and coming in to the craft and deciding to dedicate yourself, make sure that you're doing it for the good reasons and for proper reasons. Don't be doing it because you think coming into the craft means that you're going to become rich, famous, you're going to become really powerful, and you're going to be able to take the world over, and you're going to be able to do really bad, negative, and bad things. Even though some craft practitioners do really bad work, that is not what us witches are really about. We're all about love, light, healing, and doing goodness in this world. There are some, sadly, that let you down in that way. There is a big difference between a negative and evil practitioner to a black or a white witch. Okay, a black witch is not somebody that is evil. She is just somebody that's not scared of making things happen. And she's not scared to overstep that line a little bit to get what she wants. A white witch is somebody that will just naturally let things happen and will work and ask for things to happen, but will always remember to give back. And then you've got those types of energies that look at themselves as being witches, but they really do let down witches with what they do. And I'm not saying that all satanic worshipping is that way. There are different cults, different people that do certain practices that would be people associate to being of that really dark and bad craft, and it really isn't. There is a big difference between some of these bands and, you know, the proper satanic worshipping devil and all that sort of stuff. We do not worship devils, us witches and good witches. We don't worship the devil. We know he exists. We know that he's there, but we work in every power to make sure that he does not affect us or affect anyone or our world. Okay, that is our work. That is our purpose. We work in the light. A lot of us. The craft itself has always been labelled as witches as well. We've always been labelled as being evil, mischievous. We hex, we curse, we do this, we do that. Some do, as I said, yeah, but it comes with you know, it comes with a cost. Okay, nothing that you do that's bad is just gonna be done. You be summonsed it, and then that's it. You're gonna pay for what you're asking for. Believe me, whether that's in this life or when you go over, it will come to you. Okay, so always remember that. And most people coming into the craft, and most people that are witches, are actually respectful, very spiritual, and very good people. Okay. And I think that's really important. So it's really important for you to know as well. If you're somebody that really finds the craft interesting, but you're like, should I do it because I've heard that it's evil? The craft is not evil. The light and dark that is talked about in the craft is not evil. Okay. What makes a practice evil? What makes badness get done in a practice is the practitioner, their self, their thoughts, intentions, and their actions. Okay. There is nothing that is evil about the craft. What makes it evil is our choices and how we act. Okay. And that is something you really do need to understand. And even in our deities, some of our deities will be put down, and they're like, they would be looked at as being demonic, but they're not demonic. They are both of light and dark. Okay. They know what trouble, struggle, and worry is, and having to fight for what you want. That's your dark side. Then you've got the side that's the light, which is the light where you've walked the paths that you've achieved, you've been happy, you've done good things. Okay. Both these energies are energies of goodness, but they have just had two completely different structures and ways that have been amplified. Okay, so the light and the dark is not good and evil. The light and the dark are two essence of energy that form this world and form us and form our deities that we work with. Okay, it just means that they have one form where they can help us through the dark side and the struggles, the worries, and we've got the other side that guides us and brings us to our truer self. And that is what we do. The craft and witches are not evil. It's only the intention and the actions of the practitioner that makes a craft bad or good. Okay. And it's really important to know that. Remember to stay in your education, your teaching, and your studying. Make sure that you work and you look into all of the things that I have mentioned to you in this video and in the other video, because they are all true and key elements, and they are ways and paths in helping you to become your true self. They'll help you to walk on your journey. They'll help you to become the true witch that you are, and they'll help you to find your true and higher self. Okay, which is what everyone should be doing. Okay, so keep an eye out for my next video. And this is Willow. I hope that you've enjoyed this educational video. I hope that it's helped you to understand a little bit more and to feel a bit more calm, and that it's not all hands on, and that you've got to light altars and everything every day. Yes, the first couple of years is all education, hands on, working with your diet, is getting to know them, building relationships. After that, it's your own, building your power, building your energy, continuing to work with your deities and being your true self. Okay. And you'll find that as that comes along, you'll find that you won't need to cast spells and light your altars up every day. You'll be able to just do it from here and from here. Okay. And just with thought and intention. So from me, lots of love, light, and blessings. May you be blessed. And I'll talk to you all very, very soon. And thank you for watching, and blessed be. And keep an eye out for the next video that I will be bringing through to you very, very soon. Blessed be, Mary Partin.